Hey everyone, welcome back to Shop Life. In this video we're going to be working or checking out an E39. So what I have behind me is a 1997 BMW 528i. It does have the M52 with the single vanos and pretty much has about 280,000 miles, and we're just going through the entire car, changing out everything that's wrong, all the gaskets, belts, pulleys, tensioners, hoses, everything. We're just going to do a full pretty much re-gasket on the entire car. Even suspension work, whatever it needs, we're going to take care of it. With 280,000 miles, you know, it's going to need a lot of stuff. And a lot of stuff has not been changed. But the M52s are a very reliable engine to begin with. You know, even the thermostat is a metal component. There's a lot more metal in here compared to the newer variations, M52 TUs, M54s. They're a little bit different. But yeah, let's just go ahead and take a look at it and just look through it. So overall, I mean, the car is in really great condition as far as the paint and the interior and all that goes. And my customer that actually owns this car, they have another E39, a silver one, which if you go and look back at an exhaust video I had made just recently, where I reviewed a $1,000 Magnaflow exhaust, that is also their E39. And we did practically the same thing on that one. We did full suspension, all the gaskets, even changed the transmission out on that one. And they've been driving it for about a month or so, and so far so good. But let's go and open the hood and just get a quick peek. Tons of space in here. We could put a V12 in here with no problems. But we're not going that direction with this car. We're just going to be doing a full, you know, like I said, just bringing it back up to its glory that it used to be at. So with the M52, this is not the TU, so it only has a single vanos. And I mean, most of the stuff is a lot more simpler to see and work on here as opposed to the double vanos, but even that's not too difficult. We're going to be doing all the gaskets on top of here, doing the full cooling system. Probably going to replace this radiator shroud, that way we can actually secure the expansion tank with no problems, and change out all these vacuum lines, figure out what's leaking on the power steering system. I think there's probably a couple of hoses leaking there. Also change out this actual reservoir because the filter is built in. Then we've got, you know, the intake boot, clean the master airflow sensor, check all the filters, even go through all the wiring. Like the throttle cables sometimes get loose over time, like you see right here. See how loose it is, and we're trying to just make it back to how it was when it's new. You don't want any play in this cable, just trying to get it back, you know, and make sure it's nice and tight. We'll also look over all of the sensors, see what's going on there, the CCV system or oil separator system, whatever you want to call it. We'll look through that, change out the cabin filters, change out the brake fluid, new brake lines and all that stuff as well. But first, let's go ahead and jack it up. I mean, there's not much else you can see up here. The radiator, we might also end up replacing that as well. Belts, pulleys, like I said before. Let's take her up. Well, it's definitely a BMW if you look on the floor. So no question about that, it's definitely a BMW. And even if you look right here, you can see all of the oil, all the griminess. But it's a 1997. I mean, it's seen some miles. It's got 280,000 miles. This is actually not too bad. I mean, even the suspension wise, it looks pretty good. I'm sure they've had some work done. Like these tie rods, even these stickers are still on it with no problem. That's crazy. The sway bar links, they don't look too bad, but we'll probably end up replacing them if we do coilovers on here. These control arms don't look too bad. So suspension wise, I mean, it seems like it has had some work done before, but I will, you know, I'll confirm with them and see if they want me to do anything preventatively. I know we're probably at least going to do coilovers, like I said, or just a strut and spring combo. And then all these gaskets, so oil pan gasket's gonna get done. You know, whatever else, like we'll see the rear main seal. I doubt the rear main seal is leaking, but if they want me to do that preventatively, we'll take care of that. Take care of the transmission filter fluid, just look at the condition of that. The tie rods, this boot is cracked, so we might end up replacing at least the boot, if not the full tie rod assembly. Sway bar links, sway bar bushings, we'll see if we need to replace those. And all that stuff as we start pulling some of these things off, because we are going to pull off all of this in order to replace the oil pan gasket, which I know for a fact is leaking. So when we have all that stuff off, we can see the condition a little bit better. And also, this is actually one of the final maintenance jobs that I'm taking in while we're over here at Alpha Motor Works in Alhambra. Main reason, if you guys go watch the video that I have posted, we'll have it linked down below, pretty much I'm stopping, taking any customers in at this point. That way we can focus more on doing builds. So we might still take in like, full track builds, performance builds, or any other thing like that. We might still take those builds, some conversions and whatnot, but we're gonna try to focus on the YouTube aspect of this and work on our own builds. We have enough cars to make tons of content. So hopefully we'll get on that as soon as we're finished with this car. But yeah, continuing on though. So the rear main seal, we will have to see once I pull out the oil pan. I'll see how the buildup is in there, and if we need to change that out, then we'll pull off the transmission, take care of that. Also, these transmission lines, seems like one of them is leaking, or something is leaking around here. We're gonna have to figure that out. The oil level sensor, I'm gonna have to see if that still is functioning. If it is, then we're good. If not, we'll replace that sensor, or at the very least, we'll change that O-ring. Moving along, we're also gonna change out the fuel filter and the pressure regulator, that whole assembly, and all the vacuum lines that go to it. We'll also take a look at the rubber section of the fuel lines, if those are starting to get corroded. Well, not corroded, but like, you know what I mean. When they just start getting all mushy and stuff, we'll replace those, change out the clamps, and then we'll also see if they want to do something on the exhaust on this. So the M52 does not have the catalytic converters in the headers, so they're a little bit further back, and that makes it a lot easier to delete the cats. Hey, that's always an option. Get a little bit of, a little bit extra horsepower, a little bit more of a kick out of here. And also, this exhaust system is very heavy. These mufflers are so heavy. Same with this resonator or whatever it is right here. It's just so heavy. There's the old one right there that we had changed out, and that thing weighed twice what that new exhaust system weighed. But continuing back, so we've got the rear suspension. Usually the rear suspension fares really well on these 5 Series, but most of these bushings and like ball joints are starting to look worn out. So we'll see if they want me to replace all of these bushings. We can even do, if there's any poly bushings available, like for the differential and stuff, we can do that as well. The 5 Series doesn't have an issue with the subframe cracking like the 3 Series does, so that's always a plus. And whenever you do the poly bushings, it'll just make the car feel a little bit tighter. It is a pretty big car compared to the 3 Series, but that doesn't hurt, having a little bit more performance upgrade for the suspension. Now, brakes, so these brake lines, you can see they're actually torn. So it's good that, it's here. We're gonna change all these brake lines out for stainless steel lines. And that's something that, no matter what year your car is, that's something that you wanna do a regular checkup on. Brake lines, they can have, little bubbles start forming if there's like some kind of, contusion on it or something. You want to keep an eye on all your brake lines. Every time the car's jacked up, you have the wheel off or anything, you want to check that out, because it's no fun if you don't have brakes when you're going 75 miles an hour down the freeway. And then we'll also see if they want to change out the brakes. We can put new rotors, pads, and check out the calipers, the health of those as well. So these rotors actually have a pretty bad groove in them, and I mean, I don't know how old they are exactly. Whenever you do rotors, you kind of have to do pads anyways, so at least I'll recommend that to them. But that's something that they could even get done at their local, repair facility. Mainly reason they brought it to me is because they just wanted me to do pretty much everything as much as I could. And that way they don't have to worry about trusting somebody else, and we're gonna be replacing full systems together, which is what I always recommend, because you don't want to do one part at a time, especially if it's part of a whole system like the cooling system. Might as well just knock it all out at once. That way all the components are new, you don't have to worry about it as much. And they can get another 270,000 miles out of this, who knows. So yeah, like right off the bat, I can see these upper control arms are, you can see they're just crumbling. The upper control arms are usually crumbling on these cars within like the first 150,000 miles. And that's very common, and that's more of a ball joint right there. So we're gonna replace that. The lower ones aren't too bad. The upper forward ones, they're also starting to wear out, so we'll replace those. And whatever you do to one side, you have to do to both sides. So there's no point of even looking at this. We're gonna change it out anyways. The rear sway bar links are also pretty much toast. They've seen better days. And whenever we do coilovers or whatever suspension upgrade they wanna do, we're gonna change those out anyways. Now the rear axles, they're actually not bad. The boots are still intact. So that's good to see. The drive shaft, we're going to be replacing the center support bearing as well as the flex joint that attaches to the transmission itself. We're going to change all these fluids out, so the differential fluid is going to come out. Transmission, like I said, filter fluid, all of that stuff is going to happen on there. And that pretty much concludes what's going on underneath the car as far as mechanically goes. Let me know if you guys want any videos on, you know, pretty much all the stuff that I mentioned. Leave a comment down below with whatever video you want me to do as it pertains to this car. We're also going to be doing some interior work. So the seats on the E39s, E38s, they're known to twist. So what that means is there's a part of like the cover for where the seat tilts back and forth, and sometimes when that cover starts messing up, you might be able to tilt to one side of the seat on that side of the rail, but the other side won't go, so then the seat starts twisting. So we're going to repair that. I'll try to make a video on that, because that is a very common issue, and that will help out quite a few people. It's a very easy repair. It just takes a little bit of time because you have to pull the seat out of the car. But anyways, that pretty much concludes this video as far as me diagnosing the E39. I know I didn't really feel like diagnosing much because we're replacing a lot of stuff, but hey, at least you guys got to see, you know, what I see when I'm looking underneath the car. So if you do need any kind of one-on-one diagnostic help with your vehicle, whether it is codes or just, you know, figuring out what might be wrong with it, make sure you go to my website, shoplifetv.com. It'll be linked down below, and you can ask me a question on there, and I'll help you out as much as I can. And usually on those, I get back to you guys within 24 to 48 business hours. And a special thanks to all of the join members of this channel. It does really help out. It's like a Patreon, but you guys also have special access to me, and all that information is provided once you join the channel. So if you're a mobile user, you might not see the join button next to the subscribe button, but there is a link down in the description. Make sure you click that. It does help out making all of these videos, and now that we're not taking any customers in, it will, you know, give us even more time to make content that you guys want to see. So thanks to all of those members that have joined. But anyways, if you guys don't want to join and still want to ask a question, make sure you go on the website. There's also a bunch of merch. We're coming out with new stuff. We're actually we're in contact with our supplier right now with a completely new design. And if you guys were at Bimmerfest, you probably saw the new design. Anyways, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you leave a comment down below. Any other work that you want to see me document on this vehicle, make sure you leave that down below as well. Go check out all the social media, our Instagram, the other YouTube channel, Shop Life Vlogs, and just go show us some love everywhere else. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video.